Hey everyone, welcome back, Focus Learners. Today we are going to demystify a massive, absolutely fundamental concept from political science. We hear this word thrown around every single day on the news, in debates, and in our textbooks, but rarely do we actually stop and ask what it really means. Well, today's the day. Let's dive right in and completely conquer the academic concept of the state. Have you ever just stopped and wondered, wait, are the state and the government literally the exact same thing? I mean, it's a super common misconception to use these terms interchangeably. Or think about this, has the state always just existed? And if it hasn't, how on earth did it actually begin? Today, we're going to answer all of these questions in super simple, everyday language.
Here is our agenda for today's explainer. First, what is a state? Second, the four elements. Third, the island story. Fourth, origin theories. And finally, a quick revision.
Let's jump straight into section 1. What is a state?
So, to really grasp this concept, we have got to cut through the everyday political jargon. If you think the state is just a fancy synonym for the government, well, this is going to change your perspective. Think of the state as this permanent, overarching, sovereign entity. The government, on the other hand, it's really just a temporary agent. Governments come and go, right? They change through elections, sometimes revolutions, or just the passage of time. But the state remains permanent. The government is basically just the machinery hired to run the state for a little while.
Now, let's nail down that formal exam-ready definition. A state is defined as a politically organized body of people, inhabiting a defined geographical territory with an organized, legitimate government. I know, it sounds like a bit of a mouthful, but if you look closely, this definition literally hands us the exact ingredients we need to build a state totally from scratch. Which brings us to section 2. The four elements. So, what are those essential building blocks that make up a recognized state? To help you instantly recall this in the middle of an exam, I want you to lock this memory trick into your brain right now. P, T, G, S. Just remember those four letters. P, T, G, S. Let's unpack that trick. P stands for population. I mean, you can't have a state on an empty piece of land, right? You need people. T is for territory. Those people need a defined geographical area, land, water, airspace, that actually belongs to them. Then we have G for government. Like we just talked about, this is the machinery that actually makes and enforces the rules for the population. And finally, S stands for sovereignty. Honestly, this is the absolute most important element. Sovereignty means supreme power. It means the state is completely independent and not answering to any outside foreign power. Without sovereignty, you don't have a true state. You just have a colony or a province. Moving right along to section 3, the island story. Okay, let's step away from the dry textbook definitions for a second. To really get why a state even exists in the first place, let's do a little thought experiment. Imagine an island where people live entirely without rules. Zero laws, no police, no courts, no boss telling you what to do. At first it sounds amazing, right? Absolute freedom. But very quickly, what actually happens? Since everyone is just doing their own thing, disagreements over food, land, and safety start bubbling up. That absolute freedom inevitably, 100% of the time, leads straight to conflict and chaos. And that perfectly illustrates how human society logically progresses. Step 1 is that initial conflict and chaos on our island. People realize pretty fast that to survive, they need some kind of order. That pushes them to step 2, agreeing on common rules so everyone stays safe. But rules are completely useless if nobody is there to enforce them. So they naturally move to step 3, choosing leaders and setting up a central authority to actually enforce those rules. And boom, just like that, by completing that final step, our islanders have organically formed a state. Next up, section 4, origin theories. So, the island story makes perfect logical sense to us today. But how did historical political thinkers actually explain the origin of the state? Well, it sparked a massive debate over centuries. Thinkers moved chronologically through a bunch of ideas, starting with the divine theory, then the force theory, then the social contract theory, and finally landing on the historical and evolutionary theories. Let's do a rapid-fire comparison for your exams. First up, the divine theory. This one argued that the state was literally created by God and the king was God's direct representative. The big advantage? It got early populations to obey the rules. But critics rightly point out that it has zero scientific proof and, yeah, it totally paves the way for dangerous absolute dictatorships. Next came the force theory, which basically said war begat the king. meaning strong tribes just conquered weaker ones to build states. And sure, physical force played a huge role in history, but critics argue a state built purely on force just can't last. It actually needs the ongoing consent of the people. Which brings us to the social contract theory. This is exactly like our island story. Thinkers like Hobbes, Locke, and Rousseau argued that people deliberately got together and signed a metaphorical contract to create a state for mutual protection. Pretty cool, right? But wait, modern scholars actually lean toward the historical or evolutionary theory. This one states that the state wasn't created by God, or just by force, or even by a single contract on a random Tuesday. Instead, it evolved slowly over time. We're talking families growing into clans, clans into tribes, and eventually morphing into the complex states we live in today. It's widely considered the most scientifically accurate and accepted theory out there. And that brings us to Section 5, Quick Revision. We have covered a ton of ground in this explainer, so let's firmly anchor these key takeaways in your mind. To quickly recap, the state is a permanent sovereign entity, while the government is just its temporary operating agent. Remember our handy memory trick for the 4 elements? PTGS: population, territory, government, and sovereignty. You absolutely gotta have all 4. And finally, while historical thinkers debated divine, force, and social contract theories, we now understand through the evolutionary theory that the state developed gradually over thousands of years to give us the safety and order we envisioned in our island story. Master these points and you are totally set for those important exam questions. All right, before we wrap up, I want to leave you with one final provocative thought. We now know exactly how the state originated and evolved from early tribes into what it is today. But think about this. With the rapid rise of the digital world, massive global corporations, and artificial intelligence, what do you think the state is going to look like 100 years from now? Let me know your theories down in the comments. If you found this class helpful and you're feeling ready to crush your exams, please hit that like button, share this with your friends, and make sure to subscribe to Learn with Vaishali. Also, comment below on which chapter you want us to cover next. See you in the next explainer.